Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. And once again, welcome back and welcome to in the 35th episode of Unknown to Known with Anna. Hope you all are doing good and well and enjoying your life as well. We are on the second month of the year now, 2025. It is the first Feb, and we are starting something new. So, with today's, our guest is Anna here with us. Good morning, Anna. How are you doing? Anna, can you hear me? Yeah, thanks.
I'm very excited to be here, sharing your platform.
Okay. Um, so, Anna, as per the tradition in our I can say in our podcast, how we start mainly. So first we will pray to God for 5-10 seconds. To whom you worship, we pray to God and will say that give us the power and strength and the words so that what we want to present, we can present to our community, and then we'll start the discussion with the bigger manner. So we'll take 10-20 second pause here. Everybody can pray, audience, myself, Anna, and then we can start the discussion. Okay, Anna. So this is your first live podcast, right? How are you feeling?
Good morning. Yes, I am Atul, feeling great. I just disabled my camera in case my network is going poor. Apologies for that.
No,
So
that's
yes, I'm very excited to be here, as I said, and I just want to say once again thank you to Atul. I met you at one of ServiceNow events,
right.
and we then start talking, and then on the way home, you were very inspirational, and one of the I would say I'd like to say thank you to you for what I'm doing now because you really inspired me.
Thanks, Anna. Thanks. And just to be tell to everybody, we met in one of the ServiceNow developer meetup. Not meetup, it was I guess a snug event where we met, and I just had a discussion with Anna in a train for 10 or 15 minutes maximum. And then this discussion go wider and wider, and here you can see Anna now. So Anna, are you feeling nervous, excited, little bit afraid that what is going to be happen now?
So I feel very excited. I'm not afraid. I'm very
Okay.
fortunate and happy that I can talk about um, something that's been passionate and been career since the day one after
Right.
graduation. So I'm looking forward to share
Right.
my knowledge and inspire others.
So let's start that particular part. Okay. Before that, let's play a game, Anna. Okay. I will put a alphabet, and you have to be give me one term from the ServiceNow ecosystem, but you cannot take the release name. Okay. Possibly try if you have that word from your ecosystem, that is IT finance, that will be good. If not, might be some common service now term. Any term with start word C.
See,
Yes.
okay, I've got one word.
Go ahead, please.
It's a contract.
Contract. Nice. Okay. Anything which word E.
Oh, that one is a hard one.
But I'm
I
sure
mean,
that
some
in finance you have something similar to E as well.
well, I've got one word,
Go ahead.
ESG.
ESG, right? That's
ESG, yes,
yes. Okay. Okay.
part of
Something
item.
with
Yes.
yes, and might be you can say entitlement as well. E for entitlements,
Okay.
which we
Yes.
use in
Yes.
contract specifically. Okay. Jerry says cost. C for
Oh,
cost,
yes.
definitely. Yes. That's
Oh
a very
gosh, I
common
forgot
and
about that.
basic, right. Okay. Something with F.
Oh, funds.
Funds and finance as well.
Funds.
We can
You can, yes.
finance. Okay, last one. Then we'll go for introduction. Okay, something with I. I.
I.
Yep.
Okay. Guys, help in the comments.
You are the first person very openly saying, guys, help. That's I
Oh,
like
no.
it.
Well, this is all about community, right? We need to be,
Yes,
we're all in this together.
right. What do you think? What is in your in IT finance system? Anything with start with I?
In IT.
Yes, it can be IT. Definitely,
My
yes, it can.
gosh, I feel so like now you're testing me. I didn't expect that. Guy, it was not rehearsed, by the way, as you can see. It wasn't rehearsed.
Okay, okay. We will come back on that particular part on I.
Information. A lot of
Yes,
information.
correct. This
Yes.
can be information. Definitely, yes. Okay.
Ah,
So Anna, now I'm sure that you're a little comfortable, and we have the little ice-breaking session as well to make you it's comfortable. Now I'll give the stage to you. I want to know about Anna. Who is Anna? How Anna started her journey in service now? What was her background like? You are a technical from engineer perspective, you are from the arts perspective, commerce perspective, mathematics, what type of you area you are coming, and then how you started your IT, or I can say service now journey.
of course. Okay. So I'd like to start from very beginning actually. Originally, I am from Lithuania and I moved to London 20 years ago. Study finance. And actually, well, I didn't want to study finance. I want to study art. But then I ended up doing finance and business studies degree. Then I thought, okay, this is fairly like kind of common, so I need to learn something more technical. So I went to do master's degree at Imperial College in London, where I specialize in natural resources. And then I wanted to work in this area, in this industry. So my first job out of university was actually in a mining company.
Oh,
What happened is that because I was a grad, they told me, well, we have a place to work for CIO in
yes.
IT finance. Okay.
Oh,
And I was like, okay, this is still mining industry and I know finance. So why don't I try, basically there I was. I started my career in IT finance, working with the CIO and
mhm.
CIO minus one to shape,
Okay,
define IT finance governance controls and
okay,
drive data and analytics. Okay, so that was my first job. Then
nice.
sometime later, I moved to a SaaS company called Aptio, and basically this is where I started applying my IT finance knowledge in building data models to drive IT spend insights. So, to understand what is the unit cost of service, what is the TCO of an application. So basically, I was working with a number of customers to build the data models and then reports so we can drive understanding of what investments bring to the company, right? And how these investments align with the business strategy. So
Okay,
I did that for a few years, and then I started my actual company in IT finance management.
okay,
And 2 years ago, I joined ServiceNow ecosystem,
okay.
specializing in this is where we're entering ServiceNow.
Yes,
And actually,
correct.
what is quite interesting is that when I was working for this Aptio company and with this data models, I knew about ServiceNow because, of course, data analytics. We would always use CMDB and
You-
data that was built on ServiceNow platform, right? So I knew about ServiceNow, but I didn't know how to enter the space. And then
Okay.
2 years ago, when I joined another company that built their solution on ServiceNow platform, I started
Mhm.
working with ServiceNow teams on driving data analytics of IT investments to the business, right? And I
Okay.
also started working with various technology workflows to see how various ServiceNow products can complement each other to drive the value of the ServiceNow platform, but also help customers to make decisions better. And this is how I was really inspired by all the different products that ServiceNow has. But
Has right.
one thing I noticed is that ServiceNow product would exist in sort of verticals. You would have your technology workflows, you have your customer workflows.
True.
And for me, I saw something else, right? I was inspired by interconnectivity, of various workflows. So then customers can really start using ServiceNow products, not just vertically, but also horizontally to drive this end-to-end value. And then
Nice.
last year, around September or October, I went back to my independent consulting, and this is where I'll tell you more about the company, right? But essentially, I joined ServiceNow partner ecosystem, and now I'm working with ServiceNow and the
Okay.
ServiceNow customers to drive the value of the platform in a slightly different manner as it's used.
Yeah, definitely. And it's all about the destiny. Like you said in the beginning that you don't want to be go in the finance, but I guess destiny want to be go in the finance and build yourself in this particular industry. Inspiring one. And also one thing, Anna, in your this introduction, you say that you work on the data model. Okay, I'll come on the data model, but before that, I want to be understand that why it is important for IT to know about the finance, because I'm working in the ServiceNow ecosystem, but I don't bother about the financing part in IT. I just bother, okay, my customer should be happy, they should have a service now, they should implement this thing, they have XYZ benefits and everything. But how this financing come into the picture when we talk? And you say that you are more impressed by the interconnectivity of the workflows like IT, employee, and these things. So how you think about all this stuff?
Okay, so actually, finance come into play on several levels. Of course, finance know about now, and well, you're still in my slides. Basically, questions. What I was
Okay.
gonna say, but essentially, finance will know about ServiceNow as at some point they will have to approve the contract, right? For
Mhm.
the to create a purchase order, right? To pay for licenses, and licenses can be quite expensive for ServiceNow. So very
Yeah.
often, finance is puzzled. What is this monster, right? And why,
Mhm.
what can it do? Or sometimes they don't even know what ServiceNow platform can do for them, right? And I'll give you
Okay.
some examples how it can be fixed, right? And so finance care about spend optimization because of several factors, right? And ServiceNow can do this, right? So I think we can do together, right? And this is where I'm here also to share my passion and talk about this more, is that we can actually take all the great insights that ServiceNow has, and actually they've been talking about those cost optimization insights for quite a long time. It's just what we need is to connect
Right.
IT and
Sure.
ServiceNow function with the
Fine.
finance.
Right. Okay. Definitely, I'll give you the time for the presentation as well. But I have few basics question before we move forward. So whenever we speak about the finance, is it required that I must have a kind of a diploma or a degree in finance? So only then I can learn, or it's like anybody can start, anybody can learn financing, this IT financing part. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are the following. I personally, I do not have any accounting qualifications, right?
Okay.
However, so I can tell, and this is why again I'm here on this channel because like guys, it's you can start. It's so easy to start to get involved, right,
Mm.
and to elevate your skills and like improve your career, and because all you need is to have to start with a little bit some good understanding of technology, right?
Okay.
And also you will pick up finance terms and and the finance processes. So it's not so difficult. But I come from finance background, so when I
Okay.
joined this Aptio Pro company where I had to build IT finance cost models, I didn't know much
Mhm.
about IT, right? So
Okay.
all you need to really is to passion to learn, right? And express your desire to work with finance, right? And
Okay.
they're only looking for is person so who can be the a good negotiator and collaborator.
Okay. Nice. Good. So now I'm giving again chance to you to present your screen, and let's have a discussion about the presentation which you built, because you are saying that a lot of things you are covering in the presentation. So just to request to everybody, if you have any question, you can put in the chat window, and we can pick it up in between as well if required, or we can pick up once Anna close the presentation part. Over to you, Anna.
Thank you so much. Yes, because I cannot see your question, so Atul, if you can help me with
Yep.
stop me anytime. Okay, let me
Yes.
share my screen.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
please let
Yes,
me
I can see.
know.
Can
You
you
can
go in
see
the
my screen.
slideshow mode? That will be good.
Okay.
Perfect. Yes. Over to you, Anna. Go ahead.
Here, all I want to say is that the Deliqua name came. I was thinking how to call company, and I thought I chose Deliqua is a Latin word for making things clear, clarify, and explain. And this is what my status quo. So all I do is to build really to make to bring together the worlds of finance and IT, and think about how we can turn this data and
Mhm.
tools and platform into something sustainable that can really solve problems and help companies.
Okay.
So when I was preparing for this presentation, I thought, okay, who may be watching or attending this call, right, this session?
Mhm.
So I identified two type of listeners, right, and I just want to give you some advice
Okay.
on how you can use this information, right, going forward. So if you are a ServiceNow employee or ServiceNow partner, employee, I would strongly suggest to use this information that you hear today to
Mhm.
elevate your career and see how you can differentiate yourself from others, right? But also think about the project you're currently working on and how you can help your customers, really, right? Because it's something can be it wasn't discussed, and now you can come in and talk about this, right?
Right.
And then the second sort of type of listeners that we may have today is the employee of the company that already uses ServiceNow. Okay, so I'd like you to think about how you use ServiceNow right now, right? And also think about, does your finance know about what ServiceNow can do, right? That's how there's this purchase order, like a contract renewal that happens every year or 3 years, right? Do they know more about ServiceNow platform? And also, of course, you can think about, you can again make a difference in your organization by employing what you learned today, yes, in the company.
Okay. Hmm. Nice. Means nice way to understand the audience. That's really good one.
Okay, I'll continue to the next slide.
Please, please, please.
All right, thank you. So today's agenda will is quite straightforward. So we'll talk about introduction, and you've Atul introduced me already. So but it's I'll tell you more about which projects I've done.
Mhm.
Then we'll talk about the strategic importance of IT spend management optimization.
Okay.
Why are we talking about this today? Okay,
Right.
uh, we'll we'll discuss what's the optimal way to collaborate with finance team
Mm-hmm.
and what ServiceNow platform can do, right? And how we can align the finance goals and ServiceNow functionalities.
Okay.
Then we'll look into 3.5 strategies for spend governance and optimization, and I'll tell you why it's 3.5. And
Okay.
then finally, I'll introduce you to the spend governance workflow. I'll
Okay.
give you some information about that. And this is something that I've been thinking about a lot. And yes, I'm super excited to share with you.
Okay. Great.
So, overview, and I told you that I worked in IT finance environment. I held various positions working on both, actually on the corporate finance sides, but also
Mm-hmm.
IT sides, doing IT finance jobs. So I understand how what the dynamics are, what the processes are, what happens behind the closed doors. Also, I
Okay.
spent some time working on the data and analytics. So to me, I really care about the data quality and data workflows and how various data sets can really be put together and to drive insights. And
Okay.
I I'm very happy and fortunate that I managed to deliver savings to companies through
Okay.
various initiatives, including FinOps, right? And it's another interesting topic. Yeah, so we will touch on this today.
Right.
And yes, I'm a founder of Deliqua, ServiceNow partner, which is great. Super happy to be right
Definitely.
part of this amazing world. And
Okay.
also, I joined the sustainableIT.org organization. Actually, look it up. We're not going to talk about this today, but this is
Mhm.
really interesting because, of course, in addition to saving costs, we also need to think about sustainability and impact on environmental impact the technology landscape has. And this
Some
is just some.
something new. SustainableIT.org. I'll definitely explore this part. Nice.
Yes, and I am a member, so and I know the people who founded this community. It's a non-profit, right?
Okay.
So if you're interested, I will definitely introduce you to the community. Let me know.
Definitely. Sure. Definitely, Anna. That will be good.
Okay. So I like to start with the big picture because if we go down into the details, it can be like, why are we talking about this?
Mhm.
So I'd like to share with you the whys of we should be, thinking and spending time on looking into these IT finance management topics.
Okay.
So typically, what happens? You will have your internal company's business, right?
Right.
And then you have your external world.
Right.
So what happens is that organization, they will have their business strategy and objectives. And even though you have companies in various fields like insurance, energy, retail, but typically there are three
Mhm.
strategic objectives each company would have. So one is
Right.
to drive revenue and growth. They want to reduce risk and also want to achieve effectiveness. And the reason I put the operational effectiveness in a yellow circle is because this is what we'll be talking today, right? About. So as the company gets their strategy in place and everything, they're planning, then comes the external distractors, right? So, and the
Right.
external distractors is basically like what happens in the world, like geopolitical challenges or like inflation and things like that. So that
Mhm.
impacts the various things like price, right? So Gartner released a article on
Mhm.
21st of January about IT spending, and they
Okay.
anticipating that IT costs are going to go up by almost like 10% in
Okay.
so this is they do this like forecast every year, and last year it was around 9%. This year it's like 10%. Maybe it's down to AI, right? All the
Okay.
compute
Okay.
and quantum computers. Anyhow, what is really interesting and relevant for today's session is that when you see at the IT spend categories
Mhm.
in the table below, data centers, systems, devices, and software are going to go up by more than 10%, right? So this is like quite a huge jump in spend, right? If you ask me. So someone needs to take care of that, right?
Right.
Which will continue on this, right?
Just go in the backslide once, Anna.
Yes.
So when you talk, say, data center system means the companies are spending this much amount just to maintain their data centers, right? And it is increasing every year. The maintenance cost is increasing every year. This is what is you're saying, right?
So this is what Gartner suggests. Yes. So they are suggesting that there's gonna be a massive growth, right? And
Oh,
yes, and this basically, data center systems, and it's like everything that like fully loaded, I would say, cost, right?
right.
Your buildings, your heating, your sorry cooling, right? Your support, right? Everything, storage, etc.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's and what I like to do, I right, this is like interactive session. All right.
Mhm.
Please go and check how much you actually spending in your organization on this, right? Data centers, devices, and software. And even,
Right.
do you have information about that, right? Sometimes companies don't even have the visibility into this, and we'll talk about this, right?
Mm. I'm
But this is
I'm
going to become on.
surprised to see that working in this IT ecosystem from the 16 years now, and I never had this discussion or never had this kind of information that how much my company is spending on the data centers or how much they're spending on the devices or software. But that's
Well,
kind of eye-opening figures that yes, these are expenses which company to be do, and too
well,
much the
this
cost.
Yes, exactly. And this is why companies look into cloud infrastructure, right?
Right.
Because, mm,
And
yeah,
these figures are USD dollars, right?
I would think so, yes, because Gartner, they are, by the way, I didn't edit this. So also, if you start looking to reconcile these numbers, I wouldn't suggest sometimes Gartner, and I hope they're
Mhm.
not listening to the session, right?
Yeah.
Yes. But
The
actually, I can
mhm.
send you the link to this session, guys, if you're interested.
If you can send Anna, that will be good, and we'll come on this particular one. Jerry, I just request just hold for some time because this is what Anna is going to bring now. That how these things can be easily done in service now that particular part. And I'm surprising to see Anna the growth in data centers 23%. It is like a more growth than employees getting in the appraisal's life cycle. It's too much. It's too much. They are growing so drastically, so fast. The costs are going so fast. Okay, over to you, Anna.
Well, before I move on to the next slide, I really like what you say at all, and what we should look into, right, is see
Right.
what exactly, right, validate these numbers with real organizations, all right, and that would be an interesting exercise, I think. And let's just keep in mind that this is their projections, right, and yes, so
Okay.
okay, so all right, we've established we're going to experience 9.8% increase in IT spend this year, right?
Right.
So what's going to happen, right? Our internal the strategy, right, will be impacted, and suddenly our operational effectiveness circle is becoming red because we see that there will be a risk, right? So what's going to happen is CFO, it's chief financial officer. For some who don't know, it's like the most important finance person in the company, right? Who is responsible for all the spending in the organization. They will say, okay, guys, we have a risk. Now we have to work with that. And they will say, okay, you guys need to save money. You need to manage increasing costs. And what they will do, finance teams will instruct every chief, like leader or senior leader, to help them to save costs, because this is how companies work, right? Every leader in the company have to work towards achieving business goals for the organization. And our lovely CIO
Mm-hmm.
will have a challenge because they will receive budget cuts and investment freezes. And what it really means is that for companies, you will have your interesting projects may be paused, right? You will be tasked to stop some initiatives, and
True.
also even your promotions and bonuses may be reduced because company suddenly needs to work in this more constructed critical like mode, right?
Mhm. So it means that this can be one of the. I'm not going in that direction, but I'm just thinking loud. This can be one of the reason for the recession as well, because no money in the market or company don't spend too much, and due to this, layoffs are happening, cost cuttings are happening in that particular part, right?
So it's an interesting topic, and if we start talking about it, yes. So recession is and I'm not an economist, right? But
Right.
recession typically hits like the external factors drive recession.
Hmm.
Here, what will happen is that companies will be under risk with innovation and
Right.
growth, right?
Okay.
Because what they will have to do, they will need to turn back to this keeping the lights on mode, right? So
True.
essentially, what they do, they just focus on sort of survival, right?
Hmm.
And this is really in IT, for example, it's really difficult because sometimes, like, or most of the time, right, all the expenses systems and all supports the lights on, right? Supports the
Right.
business. So for IT, it's really difficult to cut something, right? Because if they cut, it will have a direct impact on people, right?
Right.
Services, okay.
Got it.
So this is where it's really difficult, and so what we can do in this case, and when I was between this sitting between finance and IT, you
Hmm.
need to work on finding this very non-invasive
Right.
optimization plans, so
Okay.
then you don't impact your services, and but also you're creative and how you cut costs.
Hmm. Great, great. And Anna, by seeing this picture, where Anna is fitting, like you are on the CFO side or you're on the CIO side, to whom you will be supporting must to be make it balanced now.
So I actually sit between
Oh,
CFO and CIO. In my career, I've been in both sides, dark side and not dark side, right? Or police
right.
side. So when I
Okay.
was in finance, IT would call me police because all I would do is come to IT and ask them
Right.
for cost reduction.
True.
So so what I want to do is to find a very safe place to
Hmm.
collaborate. And
True.
so this is why we go to the next slide,
Okay.
right? So here, what I would like to summarize on this slide is we've met CFO, right? And we know what they do typically, right? They do other things, but we assume that they really focused on cost reduction, right? And here at the top, you see various finance roles that you may be familiar with, right? Or these roles that are typically involved in IT cost optimization, right?
Okay.
Or working with IT. And I can explain to you what each role does if you would
Hmm.
like. But ultimately, you will start with purchase order processing, right? And paying
Right.
your invoicing. And then you basically go to your IT finance reporting or finance reporting that
Yes.
happens every month. And
Hmm.
then you have this finance business partner. It's basically this collaborator that lives between IT and finance. And what they do, they help IT to be successful, right? But they also help finance to achieve the goals. So they're like collaborate, right? And
Right.
then finance director will typically be the person who takes care of the IT spend, and then we have CFO and CFO basically. That's really, really crash course on how IT finance
Hmm.
work. But of course, if you wish, we can talk about this more next time.
But
But
it's
yeah.
it's like a very eye-opening slides in the previous as well, that what we say that it's cost cutting, but actually how it's be happening in the background, that will be really fantastic. Okay, I'll take one thing here, which put by Ajay. This is something new which I'm learning here. I know little bit about that, but sharing that experience and knowledge is amazing. Oh, thanks, Anna. Ajay is appreciating your experience, the core experience which you have, and it's an eye-opening experience here as well. So the picture you're showing here. Okay, Anna, can you hide this last one that is showing screen sharing? Can you just click on the hide, but hide. Yep. So that, thanks. Okay. So what about this slide now? What finance care about and how service now? Because I guess everybody who are in this session are more interested that if I need to be work in this ecosystem, in this domain, what tool or what, not, I'll not say tool is not the right one. What module of service now I have to pick it up here?
Okay, so this slide, I thought about how I should put this information in front of audience,
Mm-hmm.
because when I was working in ServiceNow ecosystem before, right, or when I started, one thing that everyone was telling me is like, Anna, like, we don't know how ServiceNow should work with finance, right? How can we bridge the gap between finance and IT, right, or ServiceNow? How do we engage with them? Okay, so what I started thinking is to I listed all the like 6 key things that
Mm-hmm.
finance care about, right? And I also then thought, okay, so this is what they care about, and how can really ServiceNow can help with those things, right? Because ultimately, and then third column is ServiceNow products, right? Who can support this? Because
Right.
ultimately, what we want to do is, like I said, we asked me, Atul, like, where do you sit? Do you sit in finance or IT, right?
Right.
So we need to start, and this is actually interesting because now there is more and more publications around not necessarily functionality, but like a business, right? So we need
Right.
to stop caring about where you work. It's about
Mm-hmm.
the business outcome that we want to achieve. In our case, this is like a IT cost reduction, right?
True.
For finance, it's super important to invest every dollar in the right way, right? To make sure it supports the strategy of the company, right? And here,
Right.
of course, we know, most of you, or you, some of you know more than I do, that ServiceNow does a fantastic job at aligning the demand with the business goals, right?
Right.
The services. So PPM and
SPM.
portfolio
Yeah.
management, yes, they would be a great products to achieve that. And here, of course, what you see is that you may be familiar with most of these products. It's just what the value of this table is that we are putting everything in one slide, right? And we are mapping it to the finance, right, processes. The next thing that finance will or are very precious about is the departments drive optimization, right? They execute on cost savings and budget reductions. And we know why, right? It's the
Mm.
black box of 10% that coming in,
Yes.
right? From the
Correct.
external distractors. So here, what we need to be really talking about and telling finance, hey guys, we can definitely help you, right? We have this great ServiceNow platform. We can optimize spend with the assets review, right?
Okay.
With item on or enterprise asset management, right?
Mhm.
We can definitely help to drive the public cloud spend savings and in optimization with cloud
Okay.
cost management, right? FinOps is one of the methodologies, frameworks that is basically developed to specifically look at the cloud spend.
Mhm.
And of course, we can look into vendor optimization, timely contract renewal, right? Consolidation with source to pay and contract management pro, right?
Right.
So this is what ServiceNow can do for you.
Okay.
Please, if you have these products or looking to get them, tell finance that yes, we have it and we can work with you on that.
I'll put one question here that when first time I see S2P, I thought it's service to portal now, but it's not service to portal, it's service source to pay.
Oh
What
dear.
and what is this term? Because I see that nowadays a lot of in my connections, I had a discussion yesterday with 2 or 3 people, and they're looking for can you have something on the S2P? What is this S2P stands actually, and how might be little introduction about this because it is very hot cake nowadays in the market.
It is hot, right? And actually, I've looked at some training materials on ServiceNow platform, right?
Mhm.
So basically, source to pay, it means from, or you can, it used to be called, I believe, procurement operations, right?
Okay.
So basically what it does, it helps companies to streamline their third party processes. So starting
Okay.
with the vendor selection, right? Managing vendor third party, right, in ServiceNow. And this is
Okay.
not just spend, right? It can have different things and like risk, right? ESG elements, right? So
Mhm.
there's a more, right? There is a complete ecosystem, and I'm very passionate. Actually, I see that this procurement operation or source to pay can be like this the central point, pivotal point in third party management and governance.
Okay.
And then what? Yes.
No, no, good. Please, Anna. I'll put question
And
later.
then so once you have your like procurement in and it helps procurement to really understand what's the vendor ecosystem like. And then of course you need to start looking into the purchase orders, right? How do you create a purchase order request, right? Purchase requisition. And basically, for me, where I see a lot of value is that because you do this on ServiceNow, you
Mhm.
essentially you can map your vendor or procurement information. Sorry, not procurement, but purchase
Yep.
requisition and purchase
Right.
order request align with your source SPM data, right? On where exactly what are you
Okay.
looking to procure, right? Is this has been approved or do you have a budget? So this is like really helps from process and workflow shift to really start connecting dots on my budget availability, my alignment with my strategy, right? I find it super powerful. And the third element is accounts payable, right? So ServiceNow has this almost like AI driven process where
Right.
teams can really, and we go to this finance team efficiency. This is where it comes, right? And you see at the top it all starts with account payable, right? So
Table. Right.
basically, accounts payable teams, they are struggling. They have so much work, right? So automating the accounts payable processes on ServiceNow, also making them human error free or reduced, because essentially you will have in one place your purchase order information and accounts payable information, and it's super cool. It also gives you like option of AI driven invoice kind of scan, right? So basically, AI can ServiceNow can scan invoices for you, and you can essentially it can populate some fields. So again, accounts payable can save time and be more productive. So
So
it's super powerful.
yeah. So I can understand by your stuff which you're saying in the last few minutes is that what this is again my thoughts, my words, that implementation of IT finance is more required from the consulting perspective. If you do the better consulting, it is easy to implement, because either implementation is still easy, but if you did not understand the terms, like you are saying purchase order, then you say no, no, it's not purchase order, it's a procurement order kind of thing. So that is important to be understand here. And service now bringing everything together, which you say in the beginning also, that you are happy because the connectivity internet is there, employee to IT fund, IT workflows, employee workflows, and everything is there. That's really definitely, it's the first time I'm seeing this thing from the finance perspective. And good to know about this thing. I'll put two questions. One question here from Jerry. Is the contract management, sorry, what do you put? Yep. Is the contract management pro is a separate module?
Yes, it is separate. And oh gosh, you're asking the right question, and hinting to this 3.5
Mhm.
strategies on cost saving, because even though CM Pro, right, Contract Management Pro, is a separate module, however, it goes really complements this source to pay trilogy, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, because Jerry is one of my regular viewer on my podcast, and he is working in the Birmingham University as a product owner. And definitely, being a product owner, you have to be see that how best you can do with your organization. And definitely, Jerry, we will invite Anna specifically if we're going in a dev meetup next time. We invite her, and we'll meet again in person. One more question put by Jerry is that, Anna, what are your thoughts on how AI will change the work of finance team in future?
Oh my gosh, this is another great question. I didn't want to like talk about this. Like I thought maybe it's too much overload. But what you will see,
Mhm.
well, in the final slide about this spend governance workflow, right, is that I am my like vision, right? If you think about it now, we will with what we are looking at now, right? Each product, right, and we will inject this IT finance related data, or we will look into that data to make it correct, right? Because it's important to get your data right for AI, right? So we'll look at all the processes that all the products from finance perspective. We will make sure that the data is there. Then
Okay.
what we are going to do, we will look into this end-to-end workflow between the products, and ultimately the nirvana stage, right, would be the agentic AI. Okay, of course.
Hmm.
And when you think about that, and I mentioned to you earlier about this like a business outcome, right? Business facing outcomes, right? So it's
True.
not each product individually, but we think about, right, in the company, how can we create this end-to-end workflow that helps companies to manage IT costs from the demand creation to purchasing, contract renewal, to managing through asset
Got
management, right? And
it.
then if it's all set up correctly, in theory, the system can do it all on their own, right? Or it
True.
can inform us only when we need to make a strategic decision, right? So this is
Right.
where what I think about AI.
Okay, definitely good. We will proceed further as well. But before that, one more question, Anna. What I have, being a consultant, being a business process consultant, do I know each and every module what you mentioned of the products which you mentioned here in a deep dive, or what specific I have to be know? Like Atul, you should be expert in like S2P or PPM, SPM, then you can drive this financing part, or if you're good in ITEM or EM, then you can drive this particular part.
So something that is very useful is to understand this end-to-end workflow, right? You need
Okay.
to understand the key USP for, let's say, IT cost management or spend governance workflow, right? What do I need, right? And of course, it's important to understand, yes, each product, but you do not need to be like extreme SME, right? Because in this, for example, world, as we see it, it's
Mhm.
important to have the stakeholders, right? And you will be working with the business, right? You need to understand how to ask the right questions. You need to understand what how to build a process workflow as is, right, and where you want to get to. And this is, I think, the most key.
Right. Because this is my experience says that earlier when I started my journey in IT in 2000, sorry, in ServiceNow in 2014, then that time if you know little bit about ServiceNow, that how the incident can be raised, change can be raised, you are good. But now definitely you also agree on this particular part, Anna, and I'm sure Jerry also be agree that now ServiceNow is very wide. To get a hands on each and every product is very tough. So might be if you say Atul, okay, you want to start with S2P only as of now, or start with CCM only, or start with
Yes.
ITAM only, that it will be good for you.
So what I would do, right, if I was someone else, right, or actually that's what I do actually.
Mhm.
So what I need is a plan of what information, right, what's the list of information I need,
Mhm.
right, to drive the cost, right, like
True.
budget availability, information on budget, right, information on my department codes, like cost centers, nominal codes, right. I need to know all that, because when I raise the purchase order, for example, right, I need to raise it in the correct category, cost category.
Category, right.
Then I know where this information lives, right. And
Hmm.
similarly, for me to work on contract management pro, when I need to understand the workflow. So for example, when I used to work in this large organization, right, with 93 present in 93 regions in the countries.
Mhm.
So when I was responsible for contract approval, I would be in this approval workflow. And when I was in finance, so when I would receive a contract to approve, I knew that what information do I need, like to approve, right? And it would be, does the requester have the budget? did they do their due diligence on their license, right? All this information. So knowing this process, right, I can then ask the ServiceNow developers, right, to consider adding those dimensions in the form, right? So
Oh,
this is
right.
how we create this process, right? And of course, if we're working with, and I'm working with one customer, they're looking into CM Pro and they have SAM, right? Software Asset Management. How can we pull information from SAM, right,
Oh,
into Contract Management Pro? So when the renewal comes, right, they have insights on what to do.
beautiful, beautiful. Okay, I'll pick up the few questions later. Might be Abin and Jerry. Just give me some more time. We can move to the next slides now. And
Okay.
definitely, I'll pick up the question. I'll not allow Anna to be go without answering these questions. And might be your questions will be answered in the upcoming slides as well. Okay,
So, okay. So before I leave, just when you see the slide again, we'll share. I don't know at all. You're gonna share the slides?
you can share the slides definitely. Yes.
Okay.
Or,
Basically, think about slide as the like a helper, like your guide, by the way, of how to look at what finance care and what ServiceNow can do. This would be a good starting point. Okay, the
okay.
next slide. So there, here, we will talk about specific optimization actions you can do, all right, in your company. The reason I said
Okay.
3.5 is exactly because I put source to pay and contract management in the blue box, whereas in fact
Right.
they are separate beast, right? But we'll,
Okay.
for this purpose, we'll give them, like, we'll put them together. So what I'd like to say is that typically companies would, this is a, they would invite external like consulting firms, some of them like Big Four or even higher, to
Mhm.
assess their company and see what they can do to save costs. So basically,
Okay.
I've given you this slide here with some tips. So you don't have to go to Big Four or somewhere, right? You can use this slide and work with this on the slide to finance, or send it to finance or IT. So there are three strategies to save costs. And this is where I would call this non-invasive cost saving. Is like, you do not need to fire people, you do not need to switch off something that is not you use, because sometimes companies, they are very can be very aggressive with the cost reduction, and that can negatively impact the future of the organization, the processes, right?
Okay.
So this is like a very friendly cost saving optimizations. So
Okay.
firstly, vendor optimization and contract management. You can save cost by consolidating vendors, so you can drive volume discounts. Sometimes, and very often, companies will have several vendors
Mhm.
that provide you similar services. So what you can do, instead of buying your laptops or like headsets from 5 companies, you can
Mhm.
actually bring those select one vendor and buy from them. So you will save cost like that.
So
Right?
it means now instead of buying from the company, better to hire a vendor and that vendor responsibility to get this done by their end, so that you get managed with the one vendor, not the five companies. Is my
No, yeah, it's like, for example, I'll give you example. So I worked for one company, and they had they were buying their laptops from 5 different companies, right? So they had HP, they would have Dell, and they
right?
would use different like vendors. So what they basically happened is that you can use the source to pay, right? Because now you have this solution where you can see every vendor, every which services this vendor gives you, right? You can see where they operate, right? And you can say, okay, I cannot believe that to manage my like productivity services, I use like 4 vendors. Let me merge them and select one vendor, and they can do this for me, right?
Okay, nice. Okay.
Second one is consolidate and centralize contracts. to get a bigger discounts. So this is like sometimes you call co-term. So very often, like companies have several contracts with one SaaS company, and even sometimes with ServiceNow, right? And this is not very effective, efficient, because firstly, if you co-term or bring them together, you can get a bigger discount again. You can also avoid additional paperwork, right? Because
Right.
you only have one contract to look after now. And the third one is you can review your contracts early to avoid late payment fees and auto renews. And this one is a dark horse because believe me, everyone in company looks after like big ticket items, like important contracts, and these smaller ones slip through fingers. And this is very true not just for IT, but other contracts that exist outside of IT. So in my past, my C level would ask me to provide report on contract renewals. And
Mhm.
so, believe me, this is very, you think it's like given, but many companies don't do this process. So,
Oh,
when a solution like Contract Management Pro can give you notification about the renewal, or even better, they can trigger the renewal, right, with the vendor, you can negotiate better deals, or you can even terminate the contract within the given period, right? So you don't have to pay.
okay. Got it. So it means that these are the three key areas to optimize the first part of this particular financing, IT finance. When
Absolutely.
consolidation of the agreements, sorry, contracts, and renew the contracts for the late payments. Very, very
Yes.
late point. Okay, got it. And this
And
is
I can, yeah, sorry.
this is 1.5, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
1.5. And this is where, guys, again, going back to this 9.8 percent, you can, and I like, we have story when in 2022, when the world went slightly skewed, right? I was in
Mhm.
finance team, and I had to basically drastically find saving opportunities. So I was looking at the IT budget, right, lines, and it's like, where can we optimize? So then what I identified is that optimizing an asset management is a right way to do thing,
Mhm.
find the right place to find costs, and hence the green IT asset management box, right? Where, of course, you can optimize with your licenses utilization, right? With some,
Mhm.
this is like super uninvasive. You see what you how much you use and what you don't use. So why don't you purchase less licenses if you need, or well, sometimes you need more, but
Right.
you can definitely look at your consumption and utilization and find savings. And the fifth one, hardware asset management. So this is where like standardization of end user equipment, like it is a big thing, especially if you work for a global organization,
Mhm.
because you will find that and I found that like when you go to request a headset or mouse, like you would find like 8 different headset types, right, and keyboards. So what we did with IT, we looked at the what's the optimal number of different types of mice and headphones
Mhm.
in company should have, right? And we revised this end user catalog that we then pushed into through ServiceNow, right?
Okay.
And believe me, you think mouse and the headphone, it may not be like expensive, but actually some headphones cost $500.
True. True.
So if you think about people who buy them or order them religiously and they don't have controls in place of the fair
Mhm.
usage policy, it actually adds up.
Ends up
And
right.
then the sixth one is the equipment as a service. And this is what really interesting. Now, as you start understanding how much, what's your end user list, what are your laptops, and how much they cost, you can then start looking into, is it cheaper for me to buy them, or maybe I should lease them? And this is something again I worked as an initiative for
Mhm.
cost saving,
Okay.
where we took our laptops estate and desktops for 93 countries. We found one partner or one company who can deliver this equipment globally, right? And we signed one central contract, right?
Okay.
And we achieved a very big discount. So like there's so much you can do with asset management. And
Right.
the next one is FinOps. It's a separate beast because again, it's very interesting topic. I am happy to tell you more about FinOps. But essentially, what FinOps is, if you don't know, it's special framework to manage public cloud spend, right? Public cloud infrastructure.
Right.
Um, and sometimes it's like single cloud or it's a multi-cloud. And this is something that companies now turn to, and for various reasons. And you saw that data center costs, right, in the Gartner chart.
Mm-hmm.
So some companies believe that going to public cloud, right, can help them save, but also make them more agile because they will pay for what they use. But with
Right.
that comes a lot of challenges because most organizations do not have good control processes in place how to do that. And I've done a lot of like optimization work in that area with CTOs. And so, of course, cloud cost management that ServiceNow platform has is a really great product because it can advise you on optimization, and it can even automate the optimization, right? So, so yes, and it's part of. I think it's separate to item now, but yes. So ultimately, everything can be done on ServiceNow platform. Once again,
Truly, yeah. This is what I was saying. Seeing basically source to pay, contract management, IT, ITAM, HAM, SAM, AM, EM, and CCM. Definitely, it's all combination. Now I'm thinking from where I to start again. Because you just open the different door for I guess not only for me, for the audience as well, that this is something also service now can help on this particular part. That's nice. Thanks, Anna. We can move to the next slide now.
yes, it's where do we start? Well, we start with the I understand it. Does your company, right, have a savings challenge? And now it's a good time to start because we are beginning of the year, right? And most budgets have been issued. Jerry, you can check. I don't know your budgeting cycle, for example, but
Mm,
yes, most companies now they say, okay, this is what we're getting for this year. Oh my God! And like a couple of years ago, when I was working for one of the companies in February, actually, I was meeting CTO to discuss the savings plan, of course, savings plan. So, if I had this slide before, right, I would be much happier.
all right.
Um, but anyway, so now I would like to talk to you about this spend governance workflow, and it's something I've kind of
Expert.
this name. Yes, I'm an expert, but also I was thinking about how should I call this, the process, right? And I was like, okay, so we're definitely talking about the spend. We're talking about how to govern, and by govern we mean you control it, but you also optimize it, right?
True.
You look after it. And the reason it's a workflow because we are on ServiceNow, of course. It's
Mm-hmm.
the king of workflows, but also I like the idea of having repeatable sort of like process that basically all information fits into each other, and there we create this like nirvana state of automation,
Right.
right? So far we have been going we've been discussing like vertical functionalities, right? We're talking about optimizing with certain ServiceNow products, right, that
Mm-hmm.
live on ServiceNow platform, right? And on top of that, I want to talk to you about this horizontal like process or workflow where
Right.
we start thinking about how can we govern, yes, costs, and how can ServiceNow create this end-to-end workflow that connects data and insights from one product to another and creates this automation and efficiencies and ultimately this um, opportunity for Gen AI, right?
Right.
So we started with the demand, and even though we didn't talk about demand, this yellow box today, but essentially we touched on that a little bit with PPM and SPM,
Right.
where we said that finance likes to see where how dollars are invested or pounds or
Right.
whatever currency, right? You use. And then when the demand is set, right, the next step is to how do I procure, how do I facilitate my demand. Okay, so
Mhm.
this is where procurement or the blue box and source to pay and CM Pro comes super
Right.
handy, because this is the engine of managing my contracts, managing my vendors. So I'm very I'm governing my payment purchasing, right,
Mhm.
stage steps. And then ultimately, as you purchase things, you want to manage these things, and you can manage it with your asset management, right? And is
Right.
it Sam, Ham, right? Because you when you buy, it's not enough. Then you need to look after it, right?
True.
So then you do that through your green right boxes, which is asset management and FinOps. And ultimately, what happens is, as you start managing, right, you start getting this information on my, usage, utilization, like everything, right, my risks. So then this information can help me to renew and make next procurement decisions, right?
Right.
Because what my goal, and this is where my goal is to work with you guys and tell more about how can we don't how can we be joined and stop being isolated. Because item is doing a fantastic, like asset management teams doing fantastic jobs, and
Right.
procurement is trying to save. Why don't we unite, right, and start
And
saving together?
true. Good.
So basically, um, this is what I wanted to talk to you. I put the slide about the story time, but we can maybe have a discussion now instead of a story. But I can yes definitely tell you more
Yes.
stories.
Yep, definitely, Anna. And I think the what you have mentioned in the previous slides is definitely important to be understand. And the way you present it with the color symbols, that easy to go in that particular manner. Okay, this is what representing. This is what representing. I already put your LinkedIn ID on the chat as well. So if anybody want to connect with Anna, definitely we can come. And Anna, now we can go on the our complete mode so that we have a face-to-face discussion as well. So welcome back now.
Okay.
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 So we have few questions here now, and I'll definitely bring because the explanation was going very well, and I don't want to be interrupt in between now. Okay. So we discussed IT AI part has been done. Okay. Do we need a technical knowledge to get in this role? What you thought? Due to the
Yes.
technical
And
knowledge.
well, actually, I'll say, what do you mean by
And might be you can switch off your video because it's little lacking for me as well. Then we can discuss. Yeah. So technical
apologies?
might be in the
Yes.
sense
So,
of the
question,
platform.
technical knowledge. Need to understand, yes, so there are different when you are on cost optimization right project, right? Let's assume we decide to do this with ServiceNow. Of course, it depends on the role in this initiative, right? So typically, if you choose to be like a business advisor on SME on the process, you need to understand how ServiceNow is built, right? So, for example, functionalities of forms, fields and everything, right? The master data sets and everything. So it's good to have it as to begin with, and
Definitely.
it's good to also understand how to work with finance.
True. Okay. Now the next question, because this is a new topic, so definitely people, everybody has a question. What type of roles available in this ecosystem in the different companies? Like they're looking for a developer, they're looking for a technical implementation, they're looking for the consultants. What type of roles we can search, or might be other everybody can search to find out to start in this particular ecosystem?
So what I would recommend, so the project I'm looking at right now, I'm working with our organization.
Mhm.
So we are focusing on this contract management pro, for example,
Okay.
and we are driving efficiencies with cost savings with Contract Management Pro to begin with. Of course, it's good to understand what is your you to have knowledge in Contract Management Pro, right, product, and also understand the to be a ServiceNow system admin or architect.
Okay. Okay. And the next question definitely put by Jerry, and somewhat we have discussed, but again, we'd like to be hear from you. In your experience, would you have a user champion in the finance department to work closely with IT, or it is vice versa?
Yes, Jerry, and I would also start inviting your finance department champion to ServiceNow events as well, especially item sessions, because it's super critical that they familiarize themselves with the cool things that ServiceNow is doing. And this is what is currently missing. And I would love to promote this more, right? And actually, it's true story. I talked to my previous manager in one company and I told him, hey, you know what? I'm working now with ServiceNow on cost savings and source to pay and Contract Management Pro. And he said, Anna, I've never heard about that. But the head of sourcing my former manager, Andres, he was like, we are struggling. Like the only way I can talk about I understand what to approve in my with my contracts is when I pick up a phone on Friday night and call someone. That's how I get my information. So guys, this is like we need to break those silos, right? And and start involving them into ServiceNow conversations, especially if it's cost saving related.
Okay. And another question put by Jerry. Have you had customer integrate external systems that are not on the ServiceNow platform?
Integrate into ServiceNow or in general, Jerry? So just
Into ServiceNow specifically.
yes, you can. For example, with contract management, you can like use Coupa, for instance. Like you can connect, right? ServiceNow has a great integration library, and I actually have a slide on that, which products ServiceNow integrates with in this source to pay and Contract Management Pro. I can share you.
Okay. But before that, one request. I'll not say it's request because Jerry is my friend, so I'll take it as an order. Please bring back Anna back to the explore more in this space. Definitely, Jerry. It's in my list now. So till now, I can say for item perspective, Ajay is the guru, and for the IT finance perspective, Anna is the guru here. And in the upcoming weeks, definitely you will see a few more sessions with Anna on this podcast where we are going to be discuss and deep dive in the product wise as well on this particular part. I have a lot of things to be discussed, but Anna is so expert that I forget all these points. Okay, and definitely Jerry and everybody saying thanks to you, Anna. It was really, really, really insightful. After a long time, I see something other than IT as well. IT
There
is
you go.
ITBM, but now it's IT finance is like a eye opener for me here. Okay. Okay, definitely. And again, a request to you: if we are coming to London, definitely, if any meetup is there, we would like to meet you again in person. Anna. Okay. Any. Okay. Before we close, if I want to be start in this particular ecosystem, what is the first step? Means, do you have some kind of articles or kind of a documentation, or might be now learning trainings where I can go and at least read minimum about this, not deep dive, but minimum.
Yes, you have this. How should I? Is there a chat that is not private?
You can put it
Ah,
on the private chat. I'll put it in the this one in the YouTube.
okay. So there is this thing called TBM Council, Technology Business Management Council.
Okay.
So I'm it was started by a company I used to work up to. So they're like it's independent body, like a non-profit organization of C-level executives, CIOs, CFOs, and what they do, they work on defining what IT spend optimization landscape and strategy should look like, right? And so this is very interesting. right? That you can, and again, please reach out to me. I can post this on LinkedIn, right? Those articles and links, right? But it's very, yes. Oh, Jerry is laughing. Maybe he has heard about this before. Yes.
No, no, no. He's laughing on my part that we would like to meet you, and it's an order for me to bring you back in the.
Oh, guys, shameless plug, but I will be, of course, attending the March ServiceNow AI sessions, right, in London. I think 11th of March or so. So, hey, or we don't need to wait so long.
Yes, I might not be there, but definitely we'll plan something else here. Okay, so if no other question from the audience perspective, we'd like to be close this session now. And again, Anna, as we started the session with the pray to God, and it's time to thanks to God as well, because in the last 1.5 hours specifically, He give us the power and strength and the words as well, so that we can present ourselves, our content, our knowledge with the community. So let's take 10-20 second pause, and then we'll close the session formally. Okay. Okay, so thank you so much. I'll go from the audience perspective. Thank you so much, Ajay, Jerry, Abin, and everybody who joined this session. Definitely, with all of your questions, your understanding, your thoughts, were able to make it. And definitely, big thanks to you, Anna. Now get ready. I'm going to block your upcoming weekends as well to deep dive more in these sessions. Okay, so this is what we are looking for. This is what the purpose of this podcast to be, bring people on the platform so that everybody can share the knowledge with everybody here. Okay, and thank you so much once again, Anna, for coming on the podcast, giving us the time over the Saturday. And thank you so much again, everybody. See you again next week. Take care and bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have
Thanks.
a lovely weekend. Bye.